It's time. It's time for your local sports attention getter. It's 4 Deep Sports Talk. Come listen to the sports stars of tomorrow. You can call in at 508-222-1320 on WARA 1320 AM.
Good morning. Let me sure I get the right mic up. Good morning, everybody. I know I'll get it sooner or later. You are listening to 4 Deep Sports Talk here on the news station, 1320 AM WARA, and online, all one word, 4deepsportstalk.com. How come I can't hear myself? What am I doing wrong here? I think I'm all set. We are highlighting the Atlantis Charater football program. We have to be joined by Coach Thompson and Brian Ruda off the football program. If you want to call in, 508-222-1320. Can you guys hear me pretty good? Sounds all right? I just can't hear myself. You know what? I think I got myself too low, but whatever. All right, so with that being said, that's a little bit better. Thanks, guys, for coming in. It's good to meet you. I know it's a young program, but if we could just, Coach, if you could just touch on that, about the program, to get us started, that'd be great.
Sure. The program started, I think, 4 years ago. I've been the head coach for the past 3 years, along with assistant Zachary Bodner, who's a football scholar, as far as I'm concerned, and also Charles O'Leary, who's been great. I always joke with the kids that he's my coach. And yeah, it's been there for about 4 years, and it's something that's burgeoning and growing. And as we establish new things and sort of cultivate the program, I think we'll see strides.
I mean, every program, and see, I turn my mic on. See, if I turn my mic on, I can actually hear him, not in the background. So, see that? If you want to take communications, Brian, you can learn from the best on how to mess it up.
We always learn from mistakes, right?
Right. I got to give a big shout out before we really get going let me turn down my mic, because I'm maxing, I'm going a little bit too crazy here. Turn down the mic a little bit more. There we go. That's better. There we go. Is Dave Kane. I had the pleasure of being on Dave Kane's show when I set up for whoever we have in. Lucky to have it, I should say, because you guys could be doing something else and you're in with us. And first, let me make sure I mention Alex Mayo, the sports master Justin Ferreira, Max Hillis, who also helps us with Max. I say that right? Hillis, right? I said it right. He's coming to do the communication side. He helps me with the program. And of course, one of my other partners, Christian Bracero, also helps me out with the Monday when we do the basketball. But anyway, I want to make sure I get those guys so everyone knows who's in the studio. Again, 508-222-1320. So they talk about the weirdest things on the David Kane show, and him and Donna play off each other so well. They had me crying. I don't know if I still have the wrinkles under my skin. They just go off each other. It was a good time. I want to thank Dave for taking the time, and of course, he picks on the groups coming in, because he's not a sports guy. He tried out for the football team once, and he said they drove him back all 90 pounds into the fence, and he was all set playing. So that was the end of his high school football career. And he's just so animate the way he explains it. And then Donna plays off, and they go off on this tangent, and it's, oh my God, it's so funny. My side was still killing me from laughing, Coach,
What strange things do they talk about?
I don't know if I can say it on air. It wouldn't be nice. It wouldn't be nice, Justin. I don't think I should say it.
All right.
I'll just keep it to myself. But again, thank you for letting me help out. Because I'm setting up the gear, and oh my God, he's in here again, and when we're trying, and he just goes off, and I'm just trying to, my big frame, I'm trying to tippy toe. But enough being said, again, thanks Dave Kane, Donna, for having me on today. That was really nice. They didn't have to do that. Great guy. Great show before our show, and he always promotes us when we get on, and again, cover high school youth sports. So, how long has the program been going? Is it 3 years now?
4 years.
4 years. So, Brian, why don't you take that mic? That's all yours. There we go. He's ready now. Unfortunately, of course, we'll have the scores. I'm going to mention this. That was the sports master, Jeff Fred Hill, of the rundown of the scores from Thursday and Friday from last night in our local area. Now, let's do a little history on you. How long have you been coaching football? Let's start with, where you're from and all that, just to give people a little idea of what you're about.
Awesome. So I was born and raised in Providence, Rhode Island, on the north end of Providence, Rhode Island. I played my football, I started playing football my freshman year, actually, at Hope High School. Shout out to the Hope Blue Wave. And did that for about 4 years. I went to Rhode Island College. I'm a graduate of Rhode Island College. and they didn't have a football team. A cool thing about that though is that they had a rugby team, and I always joke the linemen, Brian sometimes and other guys, linemen like, hey, I want to play fullback, and so the living the dream, right? All the linemen want to be running backs or quarterbacks. So I didn't get to live the dream, but when I played rugby at Rhode Island College, I became a wingback, which is one of the swift
Right.
positions. So I got that experience, and something is just like, I think when you have that bug of playing football, just being a competitive athlete, it just goes with you. So when I arrived to Atlantis Charter School in 2015, I took the first year to sort of like cultivate myself and just become a teacher and a better teacher leader. And then the opportunity came up to become the football coach, and I knew Brian and I knew other guys like Desmond Pepino and just like a lot of great students, and they were always like, yeah, you should try out for it. And I became the coach in 2016, and like they say, the rest is history.
There you go. Now, Brian, how long, you're a junior, senior, what, and you've been with the program all 4 years? Now, did you play JV?
Yeah, my freshman year, we had a freshman team. I believe sophomore year, we started with the JV team, and we played JV also my junior year. Actually, no, was last year Washington?
It was your sophomore year was JV,
Yeah,
and then
sophomore
last
year
year
was
was season
JV,
cross.
and then junior year and senior year we were Washington.
I'm trying to do my paparazzi and do everything I want, but our paparazzi girl,
Multitasking.
thank you. Lucy Cabral is on assignment. She's not on assignment. She's going to a wedding, so she's busy. She's going to those bridal shower, or whatever they call that when they all get together and they pamper each other. So she's there. So now, what position do you play?
I play outside linebacker and offensive
Offensive guard.
guard.
Now, is there anything? And I always try to throw this at all the different teams we're lucky to have on, like us having you. What could you wish you could have done before to get yourself ready for this senior level? Is there anything you look back on now that you wish you could have got ready?
Yeah, coming into high school, I wasn't even really a fan of football. I didn't really know anything about it. And, I was a big kid, and so a lot of people kept telling me to try out. And so freshman year, I decided to play. And when I played, I just got a feeling that I never had before. I really just fell in love with it right away. And I wish I just knew that I would love the sport before then, so that I could work on being faster and stronger and all these different things. And I wish I had spent time in the gym or at the field before I got to high school, so that I could just be the best player.
All right, so you really never had the love for the game until someone say, hey, why don't you try out for football? And then it came. You realize this is the only sport. Well, I'm joking, of course, where you can hit someone hard and not get arrested, right? Unless they throw the yellow flag.
Yeah, we do.
It's one of those, right? That's what that's how I always looked at it, And then, if you break it, you foul, you get a flag, But that's cool. So you play inside linebacker, you said, or outside? So, coach, what do you play? Like a 5-3?
Our defense, we play a 4-4 and a 4-3.
You know what? The varsity does that. I help out over at Bristol Plymouth with the freshmen, and basically freshman football is advanced midget football. They're still growing. It's more their sophomore year where they go through that adolescent gene and they can put on the muscle mass if they want and work on the speed. But I kept on thinking about why do you guys, all these varsity teams, stick with a 4-4? I mean, I don't know why they don't throw the extra guy in there. They put a nose guard and just have the ends take a soft step out to box out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, correction. We actually, I was thinking about it now. We actually run a 3-5.
3-5.
So,
okay.
yeah, it's something where we have a nose guard, our two tackles.
Yeah, and you
we
have outside backers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have our outside backers, our middle linebackers, and then our Mike linebacker.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, I mean, it's an excellent scheme. The way I like to describe it is sort of like, guerrilla warfare.
Yeah.
I mean, basically you have your three defensive linemen, but as far as your linebackers, you don't know where they're coming from at any given time.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And Brian knows whenever my intention is not diverted somewhere else, I like to have fun making the hand signals.
Sure, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I
So
guess
yeah,
so, yeah.
and that's actually something where we were going to go with the 4-4 and the 4-3 this year, and then our coach Charles Allaire was like, "Well, maybe you should think about the 3-5."
Right. And then you get the next guy in the middle, and hopefully you can stunt that way, and you know what I mean? Go one technique, zero technique to try to get in there.
And
And
shift everyone over.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fun times.
it is fun times. It is fun times. But right now, you guys are doing what every other young program. You're going through that growth thing where everyone, you're starting to get the system out there, and you know, and some, like Brian, some guys that don't really have, never really played.
Yeah.
You know, it's tough. It's really tough, you know?
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things when you're at the growth period, it's also that experimental phase.
Absolutely.
Where you're like, see, does this work? Does that work? You know, and then at the same time, but it's also like exciting and fascinating. You know, because you get to try these different things. I think, you know, when you play for a public school, you're walking into tradition where sort of like we've always ran the 4-4 or the 4-3, you know, so we're always going to run that. But with us, it's like we're building something. And so in building something, again, even though there are those growing pains, it's exciting to see like what possibilities are out there in regards to football.
Right, because you're learning these kids just as much as they're learning the schemes and the system.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, it's you know, you're trying to, you know, you're hoping, you don't know what you have for talent. Because
Yeah.
you don't know, like any other program.
You never know unless you try.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
I ought to know how hard playing football is because I played football in high school. I didn't play on the team, but I played it in gym class. But we weren't allowed to tackle each other. We touched each other instead. But I did do something cool once, and I caught the ball, scoring the touchdown,
Awesome.
which
Right.
that's the hardest thing to do in football.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
it's
And
definitely-
yeah, yours was more a lot controlled, thank God, because you guys probably lay each other out at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, but it's not like we were big bulked up killing machine players.
Right, right, but exactly. And then again, like what you're going through, you're learning these kids. You're
Yeah.
trying to put them in the right spot so they'll have fun.
Of
They'll
course.
understand the game, and you know, and hopefully the biggest thing, are they gelling? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because sometimes they're defensive if they don't know that other kid. You know?
And I think football, along with any competitive sports, it's awesome again to get like wins and the results of just like hard work. But at the same time, it's just like, you know, building yourself. You know, what type of person are you? I know sometimes I joke around a lot. It's like you find out a lot about yourself after you go on to a tackling drill. You know, and you're like, how do you respond to pain? You know, how
Right.
do you respond to discomfort? You find out a lot about yourself after, and Brian knows this, after you run about 30 sprints.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Sprints are exhausting. And it's like, do you push forward? As a coach, when my eyes are turned, do you kind of like peel back, or do you just continue to go forward?
Right.
And those are things that I think that translate into future success in life.
Right. All right, we're going to take our first break. We are highlighting Atlantis Charter football program with Coach Thompson and Brian Aruda. We'll be back with more right after this. Hey, welcome back. You are listening to 4 Deep Sports Talk here on the news station. 1320 AM WARA and online, all one word, 4deepsportstalk.com. I'm Dominic Damiano. Lucia Cabral is enjoying her time off. She has a family function she's going to. Excuse me, should have brought some water in. Christian Becerro, Max Hillis, Justin Ferreira, and Alex Mayer will streaming live on Facebook. If you want to call in and talk to the guys as we highlight Atlantis Charater football here, their third season in the MIA, involved with the MIAA. We'll talk about the conference, but I know Max had some questions you wanted to ask him.
So, have you made any good playoffs lately?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Have you made any good playoffs?
No, we haven't made any playoffs, but you know, the team's growing. We're still trying to work up towards that level. Hopefully, get some more players, some more athletic kids, and just keep making the thing better.
Better late than never.
Right. What about you, Christian? You got anything for the guys?
No, I was Justin, right? Brian. Sorry.
Get that mic near you. Oh.
Oh yeah. So Brian, so you were talking about just adjusting yourself to get better, to get more in shape, because you didn't really have football in your mind earlier on, and now you're adjusting to that lifestyle. So getting ready for the game, you're probably taking in hours, I would hope, in the gym and just getting pumped up. So I kind of call myself a macho of myself, so I'm always in the gym as much as I can. What kind of motivation do you try to find to keep yourself focused, not only in the game of football, but just keep yourself mentally ready for any task that you try to get yourself into?
A lot of times, for me, music definitely just always keeps me going, keeps me just head straight and just thinking about what I have to do, what I have to take care of. Music always helps. Also, one of my favorite football players is Ray Lewis, and so I just go on like YouTube or whatever and just watch motivational speeches, just watch him play, and just things like that. That just makes me feel like I want to be better, and that's the type of thing that makes me want to keep working.
And then this one's for Coach. So far, you guys are winning. Doesn't really matter as much at the end of the day. I mean, you just gotta stay active in the world and just keep going, have fun. What do you try to actually put in as more of a motivational thing to your team, just to keep them, I guess, focused on just keep going out there and just playing for the crowd and stuff, and just to put a smile on their face? Like, what kind of motivation do you share with your team?
I tell them to appreciate what they have in front of them. I think being a high school student is an awesome time in life. I think to play high school football is one of the greatest things like you do. I felt like it's one of the greatest things I've ever done in life. So what I think for them is like to appreciate what's going on. One of the things they had when I was in high school, and I think Brian will take part in this tradition, I want to implement it in the football program, is the last lap. You know what I mean? And basically, it's the night before Thanksgiving game at my high school. We did one last lap, and the team, basically, everyone else on the team held up their helmets and sort of like ran with the helmets. And I think it's sort of a time to really reflect and appreciate, like basically all the sacrifices you made, all the time that you spent in being a football player, and sort of like what will like sort of like architect or rather like architect for like what you'll go into as you go into life. It's like a pre-graduation. All right, you've graduated on the football program. So I think for them, I always tell them, like, listen, appreciate it for what it is, bumps, the bruises, and everything else.
See, I wasted my time in high school. I didn't really take in all the fun that was out there, all the football games, the basketball games. I was just a more stay-at-home kid.
Yeah.
And I try to reach out to more of those opportunities when college came around. But going back to appreciating what's there, and I wish I took that in. I really do. So I would play off what you just said, Coach. Like, if there's a lot of fun out there, academically it's hard to stay focused at times.
Yeah.
But a football program like this is something. Even if you're not actually playing the sport, you can at least go out there and support the team. And like we talked about earlier, before the show actually started, you had a good attendance.
Yeah.
For your last game that you played. So it really doesn't, win and losses really don't matter, I would think, in sports, at least for a high school program. And it's just about bringing people together and then, just having fun, I would think.
It's one of those things, it's sort of like the rites of fall, always like to say. It's like, it's now pumpkin spice is everything. It's pumpkin spice hot chocolate. It's just like getting out there with your sweater and looking at your child or just looking at the school community. And sort of doing something and it's so funny because Atlantis, we're pretty much a small school, so like it's such a family atmosphere. So it's like literally just like playing a game, and whether you're related to someone or not, it's like having aunts and uncles and moms and dads there. People that you spend like 8 hours a day, and they're seeing you, be brave and strive towards a goal. So wins and losses, are important, but they're not the end all be all with our program.
Now, to elaborate on Max's question previously, so we have not qualified for playoffs yet,
No.
right? Not yet. Okay, because nobody knows. Again, we don't know. We just, I thought that was a good question from him. I didn't know. Now, what conference are you guys with? What conference are you? Are you independent?
Currently, we're independent, yes.
What conference are you trying to get into?
I believe we're trying to get into the Mayflower Conference.
The Mayflower.
Yeah, which I believe are a lot of regional teams.
They're all Volks. Yeah, they're all Volks. Yeah.
A lot of Volks. Yeah.
Now, is that because the male enrollment is probably equal to what you have now? Is that the mentality on that? Do you know? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Not too sure on that. I think a lot of times, and it's something, again, I'm cultivating as a coach.
Yeah.
Sort of like, what are the logistics and a lot of the rules, to MIA and us entering into a conference. Because that's something when you're talking about building the tradition, building the program, especially building rivalries.
Right.
You know what I mean? You want to keep it regional and you want to keep it close by.
Right, and I still believe that they play by NCAA rules.
Yes.
Right, so that's not too bad to figure out being next football college kid,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So that's, we're just trying to get everyone familiar with the program. Great to have you on the bottom half of the hour. I don't want to forget the sports master will have all the scores that we have available to us from Thursday and Friday night. So right now, unfortunately, we had a big game that came up short.
Yep.
What do we? I know. Christian touched on a little bit. What's the biggest thing you want these kids to learn from this?
I think experience is the best teacher.
Yeah.
I think one of the great things about being independent is that we play teams all over Massachusetts.
Everybody. You guys play everybody.
Yeah, no, we play everybody. I think maybe one day we'll play Livingston, right?
Yeah, right, exactly.
That's the
That's
town
next.
before New York.
Yeah.
And I think the down
Who knows? Maybe you could play worldwide.
Yeah, football should be a worldwide sport, in my opinion. But I think it's something where, like, we see how teams play in central Massachusetts,
Right.
in northern Massachusetts. And I think one of the awesome things, again, talking about football tradition, is the bus ride. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, like, we're traveling a lot of times, and now we have the privilege of being at home. But we're just seeing different styles of play. When we play a lot of city schools, you know what I mean? A lot of, like, when we play your Roxbury's, when we play your Excel Academies, they're super athletic. You know what I mean?
Yes.
There's a lot of guys who play basketball in the winter, and, like, they have a lot of transferable skills. When we play teams in the South Coast, I mean, they still very much run the triple option. So, I mean, it's something where we're preparing our defense for that, and we ran it one season. So we're just seeing so much and learning so much. Again, me as a young coach, us as a young program, Brian as a young football player. I think Brian's going to be an awesome coach one day. And it's just like he gets to see everything, no matter who we play.
Now, Brian, is that what you want to do? Do you want to coach?
Yeah, it's something I'm looking into. I might go into coaching. When I get to college, I want to, just look at different things. And I'm between, like, coaching or, like, fitness training in the gym, things like that.
Nice.
All those types of things and things like that. So,
Would you ever want to coach professional football?
I think that would be pretty cool to do that, but I know that it would be a lot of time and a lot of studying. So, I mean, I don't know until I get there. I still don't have any experience coaching, so I'll see how I like it, and maybe that could be a possibility.
So that is a dream that you'd like to coach. Well, on the cuff with something else you want to do, correct?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. So what have you learned? What have you think you've learned to jump in a coaching thing? What's the big things that stick out to you, Brian?
There's a lot, both athletically and mentally, that I think I've learned. Just how to be in the right mind state, but also how to make yourself physically faster, better shape, stronger, things like that. Just always staying healthy, but also playing smart and playing safe. There's just a lot, and I honestly could talk about it for so long, but there's just, I don't even know where to start, because there's so much that goes into football that I never knew about before, which is, like I said before, I wish I knew about it earlier.
Right.
Because just the amount of time you can spend getting better. There's no such thing as a perfect football player, because there's always something else to learn.
Exactly correct. See that, Coach? He's brand new
I
and he
feel like
got that.
I've done my job.
Right, I was going to ask you that too. Right, there you go.
We've done our job, coaches.
Right, exactly. You get 3 years in the system at this level,
Yeah.
and you're already instilled this young man with great work ethics. Good for you. That's
Mission
awesome.
accomplished.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And not to brag on Brian, but we're talking about Brian's accolades on the football field. He's also a very accomplished student. You know what I mean? He's taking 2 math classes this year. Take AP statistics and financial algebra. So, like, yeah, he's a shining star on the field.
Now, how many captains do we have?
We have 3 captains. We have Deontay Toby Phillips, who's a junior at the school.
Yep.
We have Nazrullah El-Lakis, who would have been here, but he's taking his SAT, so SATs take priority.
Absolutely,
And
right.
Alex Rivera Ortiz, who is we call him El Toro. You know what I mean? He's an awesome kid. He's definitely a verbal leader on the school, and he always has, like, the best recommendations for Puerto Rican cuisine. What's that thing you eat? No, seriously. He's like, how do you?
Papas Locas.
Oh, Papas Locas. So he brought in Papas.
No idea what that is.
So Papas Locas. So let me describe Papas Locas to you. Papas Locas is if you're on a diet, you should stay away from Papas Locas. Right? It's basically French fries with cheese sauce, ketchup, meat, and just half a pound of pulled pork on it.
Oh, that sounds yummy.
Yeah, it is.
Any sour cream on that too?
I think it might be sour.
I'm not sure.
Why do you call him El Toro?
We call him El Toro. Because he has a very aggressive physical running style.
So he can charge like a bull?
Oh yeah,
Nice.
no, we definitely like Alex's ferocity. Also all great students. But anyway, Papas Locas is basically Alex brought it and I took a bite of it and it tasted so good, but I also grabbed my heart at the same time because the cholesterol just. But I through it all again. Just talking about the program, I work with a great group of kids. You know what I mean? All with their personalities, and it's practice is awesome, but it's also we get to share laughs and gag all the time.
Oh yeah,
So,
that's camaraderie's awesome.
and you hit it right on the head. I mean, that's also an awesome part about coaching at the school.
All right, we're going to step away. We are highlighting, Atlantis Charter Tritons football program. We'll be back with more right after this.
Dr. Gary Highland.
Hey, welcome back. You are listening to 4 Deep Sports Talk here on the news station. 1320 AM WARA and online, all one word, 4deepsportstalk.com. We are highlighting the Atlantis Charater football program with Brian Aruda and Coach Thompson. But first, like we do at every bottom of every half hour here at 4 Deep Sports Talk, we're going to send it over to the sports master, and he's going to let us know what happened with scores from Thursday and Friday night.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. This is Justin Pereira, the Sportsmaster. Here are your scores from high school football. So on Thursday night, the one and only one for Thursday we have here, Southeastern 27, Tri-County 21. And here are the rest of the results, which are from Friday. Abington 47, Hall 20, Ashland 31, Norwood 0, Bridgewater Rantham 34, Dartmouth 0, Coy Caskies 17, Bishop Stanning 14, Duxbury 38, Hingham 20, Falmouth 46, Dennis Yardman 22, Greater New Bedford 26, Martha's Vineyard 14, Norwell 13, Hamilton and Wyndham 6, Pembroke 15, North Quincy 9, and in girls soccer, Bridgewater Rankin 7, New Bedford 1, Plymouth South 20, Rockland 15, Xavier 14, Brockton 6, East Bridgewater 42, Middleborough 14, Mansfield 27, Taunton 14, Dayton Rehoboth 34, upon 27, Newton 39, Quincy 0, North Attleboro 31, Foxborough 0, Old Rochester 34, Somerset Berkeley 19, and Roxbury Prep 21, and Langton Carter 0. Just remember, if you would like to have your youth or high school program, please email us all one word, 4deepsports.com at
Good job, old man, like always. And again, we are highlighting Atlantis Charter football program. The Tritons. We'll talk about that Tritons thing first before we go. I know. Max is ready to ask his next question, but I'm curious. What were the other options besides the Tritons?
I think they voted on it, but this was a really long time ago. I was from the middle school, so I honestly don't even know.
Oh, it was before Brian Aruta's time.
Yeah.
It's also before Coach Thompson's time.
I know, like, it was mostly, like, sea creatures and things like that, because it was Atlantis.
Right.
It wanted to be something like from the sea, so there was a bunch of different things.
Right.
I guess they came to releases and Titans.
Well, there you go. It is what it is. I was just curious on how they do. I remember when one of my buddies went to St. Mary's in Taunton, and they said they all just put names of animals, and they end up being the hawks.
Yeah, I think the Atlantis sea lions were the intimidating.
Yeah, exactly, right?
No.
Exactly. But it is a pretty cool logo, I think so. All right, so I know Max had a question he wanted to throw your way, Brian.
So what inspired you to get into sports?
So when I was little, my dad used to play soccer a lot, and he played for like club teams and things like that. So growing up, I played a lot of soccer, and I also played baseball, which I wasn't very good at. But getting into middle school, I played soccer for the middle school team, and we actually won a couple trophies for Atlantis in middle school. Yeah, I was a goalie. I was a pretty decent player, and then just getting into high school with all my friends were playing football, and I was starting to get into it, and so I decided to start playing football.
Well, there you go. Wow, okay. Now, let's talk about the program as we have been trying. I know we're jumping around, so you can tell
No,
free
no
form. Let's talk about where we've been and how we are now as far as everything to step forward. You're just getting better every year,
Definitely.
right? Let's talk. Can you elaborate on that a little bit for us?
Sure. So we're still independent in which we're developing an independent schedule. We're in our second year as a varsity program, and like I had said previously, I think we're just gaining the experience. So at the end of every season, we meet with our athletic director, Chad Garner, shout out to Chad, and we definitely talk about our pluses and minuses and how we can get better each season. We're always adding strength training equipment. This past preseason, we started what we call the Try to Tough Strength and Conditioning Program, and it was open to all fall athletes. And so I think as we start to implement a lot more of the commitment that Brian spoke of, a lot more of the strength training, and as we start to gain more numbers and we're able to have a freshman football team in which we're able to cultivate football players, a JV team where it's sort of that midline experience, and then our varsity program, which will be more of our seasoned football players, will definitely start to see strides in the program.
What's the biggest one you've seen as far as strides coming into the season?
The biggest thing that I've seen is just the cultivation of our leaders, Brian, Deontay, Nas, and Alex. Just to speak on Deontay was a kid who came out for us maybe 2 years ago. And he's like, hey, I want to play football. He's like this fresh-faced kid. And I remember he, during warm-ups, he had gotten sick twice, just to speak lightly on it. And now he's just like, we're trying to, have the college scouts come and visit our school to sort of see sort of the college football prospects. And he's, along with Brian, he's one of our lead tacklers on our team. So when you sort of get to see that growth in a person, is like it's a privilege and it's awesome.
Now, what's our weight room like? How we handling the weight room to keep them conditioned? Do we have a certain schedule for that, or how does that work out?
Yeah, right now, basically a lot of guys. So right now we have a set of kettlebells, and that's something we'll look to develop as we gather more space at our facility. I think we have a set of kettlebells, and a lot of guys we focus on a lot of ballistic movements. So a lot of, let's say, and I'm sorry, I'm sort of like a kettlebell nerd, so I know these exercises.
That's fine.
A lot of kettlebell swings, a lot of shoulder presses and things like that. Things where they can incorporate the core, the hamstrings, the shoulders, sort of build like impact, whenever they make a strike as a football player.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So now we have an off season. We probably have an off season conditioning program for the winter would be fall athletes.
Yeah, so we have that, and that's usually I don't know if Brian enjoyed it, but it was 6:30 in the morning, And we had guys arrive at 6:30 in the morning, and it was sort of like an hour workout of just like sprinting and just like kettlebell lifting, just sort of get them in shape. And also a lot of guys just lifted independently on their own. Workout World in Fall River is a really popular place, and it's just like I got to see guys like Brian, Deontay. I think you took a couple of the soccer guys with you, and sort of just like I just got to see them bulk up. So it's awesome. It's one thing when I, as a coach, want guys to lift weights. It's another thing when guys take initiative, to get in shape on their own.
Right. Dedication is key when it comes to staying in shape.
Awesome,
I struggle
yeah.
at times, but 6:30 a.m. is better than what I would do. But you see Dwayne The Rock Johnson, he gets up like 4:30 in the morning, and he kills it in the gym. He's just like every day. He does so much at his age, and he posts a lot of his workout videos and stuff all over social media. Anything that you try to reach out to, like on YouTube or something, that maybe you learn from and you share with others, that you share with the team?
Yeah, definitely. The reason why when myself and the coaches were deciding to have these guys lift at 6:30 in the morning, it actually comes from other peak performers like Michael Jordan and Mike Tyson, and just the mindset of I'm working when my competition is sleeping. So it's sort of a thing where just like I definitely want to cultivate the attitude within the guys, and it's also a thing where just like that's how you know who's dedicated. You know what I mean? You arrive somewhere at 6:30, but to get there by 6:30, you usually have to get up at 6 o'clock, maybe 5:45 in the morning. So you kind of get to know, it's like, okay, it's an assessment who's serious and who's not serious.
I'm thinking that this is a hockey program, not a football program. Like you're going to rent you got to rent the ice at 6 o'clock in the morning, otherwise you lose your time.
I like to work out as much as the next guy, but 6:30 a.m. is too early in the morning for me to exercise.
Well, now how have the numbers? That's a good point. How have been the numbers? How are the numbers doing like at 6 in the morning for the most part?
We started out, let's say it's about like 15 guys, and then it's like, so you always do like you break things down in thirds as a coach. I think in any sport,
yeah.
Just like, okay, we have a large number now, but it's like we'll drop a third. So if we had like 15 guys, we had about 10 guys show up regularly.
Now, do you have a PT test you give them before and after the season to see if they're going to Workout World like they say they are? For strength.
We always start the first day of conditioning because of MIA. We start the first day of conditioning,
right?
The home team, things like that. With sprinting, and usually I think this year we did like about we started them off like with like 30 sprints, and from that point you kind of see who's been working out. And we also assess 40 times. I'm sorry, I said 40 times, 40-yard dash times.
Right.
So we see like if they've made progress or are they going to make progress throughout the season.
Okay, I was curious on that. Exactly. I mean, sometimes the kids don't say what they do, unfortunately, and it kind of bums you out a little bit because you're hoping they want to play, but they don't sometimes, to their fault, they don't comprehend that, you're at a faster level. This is the fastest level in all of high school football is the varsity level.
Yeah. And it's definitely one of the funner times. I think Brian can attest to this is when the guys finally put on pads and it's our first day of like actual live hitting. Because I meet a lot of guys and sort of like, I'm the biggest, baddest thing in the world. It's just like, we'll see.
Go from two-hand touch to right to the tag on the hard hitting.
Yeah,
good test there.
Yeah, it could be like they're strong and confident until they see what they're up against, and they're like, "Oh no, I wasn't expecting this."
Right,
Yeah.
right. Oh, exactly. We're about to take our last break, and then we're going to come back, of course, and highlight Atlantis Charater Tritons. I like that name. I do that.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's catchy.
It is catchy. I got to get myself a hat somehow. That's show off the pride. But again, if you want to call in when we come back, 508-222-1320. Again, we're with Coach Thompson and Brian Ruda, senior football player at Atlantis Charater football program. We'll be back with more right after this. Hey, welcome back. You are listening to 4 Deep Sports Talk here on the news station. 1320 AM WARA. We are highlighting the Atlantis Charter football program. If you want to call in, 508-222-1320. And you know what it is? Sometimes we'll get the pro, what's the right way to say it, where the people don't want to call in because they think we're going to hang up on them and tell them, oh, that's a dumb question, Ashley. We don't do that. Whenever we have them on, do you have another question? Do you have another question? You know, because they mean well. They want to know what's going on. They want to, you know, trust me. I've been doing this so long. Sometimes you get the parent that doesn't believe that Coach Thompson should have went for it on 4th down, and they're biting on the tongue to lay in at Coach Thompson, but they understand this is a kid show, a high school youth kid show, and you know maybe not might be the right time. We'll wait till he walks through the turnstile to go on the field, and then we'll just tap him on the shoulder before the next game when he could ask him the following game. But with that being said, I thought that was pretty funny. I guess it came out wrong. But anyway,
Well,
any difficult questions can be forwarded to my athletic director, Chad Gormley.
the reason people might not be calling because we do have our show during 12, which is the lunch hour.
yeah, but it's a Saturday, though. It's a Saturday.
There's no such thing as a dumb question.
That's right.
And Dominic, you are your own star, but you are no
Oh,
Stephen A. Smith. You're not gonna harass anyone.
That's
if
right,
They ask a dumb
exactly
question.
correct.
You know, we
I
welcome
wanna know
all
more.
questions.
Absolutely.
We love the audience. So
All right, Big Max, I know you have a good question we worked on during the break, so why don't you shoot that question?
All right. So what's the best part about playing outside linebacker?
Playing outside linebacker, you have the really big responsibility. You're the person who has to contain the outside and make sure nothing gets outside of you. So you do have the opportunity to make a lot of tackles, but I think my favorite thing is when you get set on the blitz and you get to go say hi to the quarterback.
That's a nice way to say it, Brian. That's a nice way to say it. Hey, how are you doing on your pass coverage? Are you outside linebacker? Are you the outside?
Yeah, I play the outside linebacker.
So you're in the third. Are you the right? Out, so he's on the line when you look at when you
Yeah.
give that 5-3
Yeah.
look, right?
We don't face a lot of teams that pass, but usually when we do, I take my read step, obviously, and then I just go to the flat. And
Yeah, cover the flat.
Yeah.
Look
which
for a
usually, I still haven't seen a pass to the flat yet, so I'm still doing
foaming
that.
at the mouth, right? Unless he
Yeah.
stunts you, and then the pass option is off there. You're going,
Yeah.
right? That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Also, Brian, responsibility, always hit the number 2 receiver. And that's one thing.
Oh, number 2?
Yeah, always bump the guy.
Always jumping, always
Yep.
chipping before he goes, right? Especially if he's a wingback and he's delaying too.
Yeah.
Right, you got to make sure he doesn't get a good break on his pattern.
You would think it would be number 1 and not number 2.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it all depends on what the coach wants to do, whatever he thinks he saw in the huddle tape. Right, that's a good point by you.
hey Brian, if you were in the NFL, right, as a linebacker. Now, no one take this the wrong way. I'm not saying this in a hateful way, but what is one quarterback that you would just wish you could just tackle? Right?
Oh, man. I mean,
You could just go with a rival team. If you're a Patriots guy, you could go with the Jets and just say, "Oh,
I love the Patriots, obviously New England Patriots. I live in New England, but to tackle one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, if not the greatest quarterback of all time, would be just a great experience. I think I'd want to tackle Tom Brady.
Well, God knows everyone can catch him. He's not quick of foot anymore. All right, to his fault, but I'll tell you, he'd probably be one of the smartest guys I've ever seen grab the football. You know what I mean?
He is just legendary among football people.
Yeah, he really is.
do you have any favorite linebackers?"
Randy was.
Randy Lewis, right?
Then he's the one who made me fall in love with being a linebacker. Freshman year, I played nose. I played on the D line. And then sophomore year was when I moved up to linebacker. And so to learn about it, I switched to linebackers, and I saw Ray Lewis, and I saw his playing style, and I saw his heart and his dedication and his story, and that's what really motivated me to want to just fall in love with playing linebacker.
Yes, and some backstory to that. So our assistant coach, Zachary Bodner, actually is a Baltimore Ravens fan. We tried to work through that, our professional relationship. I'm just kidding, love you, Zach. But anyway, definitely gave Brian Ray Lewis's biography, and you can just see like the transformation in Brian and definitely his work ethic.
Now, I just thought of two questions that led in from what Christian just said. The first one is, and I see this at freshman football all the time, and you get new guys like Brian that look lean and mean. How do you and your coach? First of all, let's mention your coaching staff. We'll give them a shout out, and then my follow up question is, Oh, now I forgot my follow-up question. You know, the coaching staff is, how do you assess these guys? Because some of these guys never played football before, third-year program, and some people are like, yeah, I played quarterback when I played for the Falcons in Fall River. Of course, I'm being hypothetical.
Yeah.
Then you look at it and you're like, I love you, kid, but there's no damn way you can play football. And it is what it is. They don't grow into their body. It is what it is, you know. And so my first question, let's give a shout out to your to the guys before we forget.
Shout out to Zachary Wagner, who's the assistant coach. I always call him like the assistant head coach because I mean he has such a like football acumen. It's extraordinary. And he's the offensive coordinator. And then Charles Allaire, who's a new addition to the program. He's coached for 17 years. He's had some extensive time at a New Bedford vocational school in New Bedford. And he's the defensive backs coach. But again, like his football knowledge is through the roof. And sometimes it's like, I'll make a call. And he's like, you sure about that, coach? And so it's just like, I'll kind of rethink it. And then he can actually break down, you know, the different sort of variables I should take into account, you know, why should choose something different.
Well, that's good to have that. I mean, it's not like he's being rude. He just wants to make sure that right, exactly. There's a difference because sometimes, and you've probably seen it, or you know, through the football career, sometimes other coaches go too far.
Oh yeah.
And it can hurt a team. It really can. But now about the assessing these kids you have never seen before, and you're basically throwing them in the JV and the varsity. This is not easy.
No, it's a very difficult sport. And one of the things we definitely take into account is like the safety of our kids. You know what I mean? And so it's something where when we get them on day one, obviously within Massachusetts, it's all conditioning days. So, I mean, it's a lot of extensive running. Even like with our kettlebells, also thing about kettlebells is affordable. You can bring them onto the field. We assess them on strength, we assess them on speed and agility, and we sort of see what type of shape they're in. The coaches are first aid certified, AED certified, so we're looking at how they acclimate to the weather, how basically they deal with the rigors of not, you know, doing the sport without having pads on. And then, of course, we use a lot of heads-up tackling techniques where we do a rugby shoulder tackle, and basically we just look at, you know, how they tackle. Do they have, you know, that aggressive switch? And a lot of times if they don't have that aggressive switch, again, you're taking safety into account, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because to be the most safe tackle is the aggressive tackle. Because if you're going to make a tackle and you pull back, that guy's coming at you full speed.
Right.
You
If
know
you're passive, you can get hurt.
Yeah, so exactly. So, and that's a good word for it. We're checking their passivity. You know what I mean? And so based on their condition and, you know, how passive they are, we sort of see where they need to grow. For our older guys, obviously, this is not their first rodeo. So obviously, they're the guys that we put out there just based on experience.
Right.
And then you have that one kid, there's a kid we call Florida who got injured. Shout out to Michael Johnson. And he's like speedy kid, but Michael, I think is maybe like 130, 140 pounds. So he doesn't have the varsity body yet. So we sort of threw him in there on a couple plays, and it's something where we want to cultivate that. So I think with our seniors and juniors, obviously, they get first crack at playing. But for our freshmen and sophomores, especially our kids who are new to the sport, you know, we're looking to cultivate their bodies before we put them out there.
Absolutely. Now, as far as the school goes, you know, Atlantis Charater, based out of Fall River, is there, academically, do you take a placement test? How does it all work if you want to go to this brand new school?
I believe you have to fill out an enrollment packet.
Okay.
But there is not an admissions test. We're a public charter school.
Okay.
And if you want to call for clarification, you can definitely do that. But yeah, we're public charter in Fall River, and I believe if there's an enrollment process for testing is not one of the prerequisites to it.
All right. Is there, now it's public school, so there's no fee for someone to go to the school?
No.
But there's probably a screening, because you know, not to say it, not to sound fresh, but sometimes you get those kids that are just too fresh, and you don't want them in your system. Sometimes.
No, I think it's Atlantis Charter School is very open door, and actually, Atlantis Charter is one of the schools I can say as a teacher, not speaking as a teacher, it's a come as you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we definitely, I think with our familiar atmosphere within the school, we definitely try to work with the kid and sort of like help them better themselves.
Very
I
good.
mean, one of the things like I think just in life, our students all come from different roads. And I think at Atlantis Charter, those kids are taught that you have value, and we try to build on their value.
And you distill them in that. Distill them in that, right.
Yeah.
So they know which way, what's right, what's wrong, what's
Yeah.
expected of them. Which is great,
Yeah.
which is great.
Yeah, which is what school is. It's preparing them for the real world. So we're definitely trying to do that at Atlantis Charter.
When's our next game?
Our next game is, we have a bye week this week, and then we're playing Coyle Cassidy the next Friday at 6 o'clock at Atlantis Charter School.
And there are some big boys. I don't know if you had a chance to watch them on Huddle. And I had a chance to call one of the games on, I help out another station, and they played Bristol Plymouth, and they only had 29 boys, but those 29 boys were big.
Yeah, no, and it's definitely, I think one of the great aspects of our team
Yeah.
is that we have a lot of kids, again, who had experience at the varsity level and who are definitely athletically fast. So it's something where we're definitely trying to play that to our advantage.
Well, Coach, it was really nice to meet you. Brian, it was
It's
great to
awesome
meet you. We wish you all the best. I know I can speak for us here at 4 Deep Sports Talk. I wish Alicia was here again. She's having a personal day, doing some stuff with her family. For Alex Mayo, the Sportsmaster Justin Ferreira, see, I almost said it wrong. Max Hillis, and of course, Christian Becerro. We hope you enjoyed this hour of 4 Deep Sports Talk as we highlighted the Atlantis Charter Tritons football program. We will catch you next time. Everyone have a fantastic weekend.